Good morning, Professor. My name is Mugdha, and I will be talking about HBR article Leading Change. Why transformation effort fail. Before getting into detail, let's have a brief introduction about author John P. Kotter. He is a professor in Harvard Business School and he is teaching leadership there. He graduated from MIT in electrical engineering. Further, he did his MBA from Harvard Business School. After his MBA, he was among the youngest people to be selected as a professor. He has written around 19 books and 12 of them are business bestseller. Further, he founded Kotter International Company. It's a company which helps leader in delivering transformational change. He is widely known for his leadership style, and for that he has won many awards. Main overview of the article. Business has got very much competitive. They need to reinvent themselves in order to succeed in most challenging market situation. Every business need to go through transformation. Transformation is not a invent, it's a process, and this process takes time, consistent amount of time, and you need to succeed at various stages. So in this article he is talking about 8 phases in which all business need to go through in order to have a successful transformation. You need to succeed at each phases, and you need to succeed in correct order in order to have a successful transformation. So going forward I would be talking in detail about all these phases and what you need to do in these phases and what are the challenges you would be facing. The first step he is talking about is developing a sense of urgency. Most successful change effort begin when some individual or some group start to look hard at a company's competitive situation, market position, technological trend, and the financial performance. They focus on potential revenue drop when a very important patent expire or an emerging market situation is being ignored. They open an honest and convincing dialogue about what is happening in the market and with respect to your company's competition. If many people start talking about the changes you are proposing, urgency could be built and feed on itself. Main challenge you can face in this stage is driving people out of their comfort zone. You need support of around 75% management including CEO on board who are on board with the ideas you are proposing. Around 50% of the companies fail at this stage because it's tough to convince people. So you need real people who can drive people, motivate people, and drive them out of their comfort zone. Second step, he is talking about forming a powerful guiding coalition. Initially, you could start with few people, but eventually team has to grow from 15 to 50 people depending upon company size. You need to convince people that changes is necessary, and for that you need to take strong leadership and visible support from key people within the organization. To lead change, you need to bring together a coalition or team of influential people whose power come from a variety of sources including title, status, expertise, political importance. Apart from that, you need people who are not there on the top management, because these are the people who can bring real innovation and new ideas from company's perspective. Main challenge we can face in this phase is teamwork at top level. Sometimes they have no history of teamwork at top, and therefore they undervalue the importance of this type of coalition. Sometimes they expect the team to be led by staff executive from human resource, quality, or strategic planning instead of key line manager. The third phase is creating a vision for change. A clear vision can help everyone understand why they are being asked to do something. In every successful transformational effort, the guiding coalition develop a picture of future that is relatively easy to communicate and appeal to customer, stakeholder, and employee. A vision always goes beyond the number that is typically found in a 5-year plan. A vision says something that helps clarify the direction of the organization in which it needs to move on. Without a sensible vision, a transformation effort can easily dissolve into a list of confusing and incompatible projects that can take the organization into wrong direction, or you could say nowhere at all. In fragile, in failed transformation, you often find plenty of plans, directive, and program, but no vision. A useful rule of thumb: if you cannot communicate the vision to someone in 5 minutes or less and get a reaction that signify both understanding and interest, you are not yet done. You need to work on your vision again. Next step is about communicating the vision. In this phase, you need to talk frequently and powerfully about your vision through every channel, be it routine discussion or performance appraisal or a quarterly management meeting. You need to take advantage of all the channel, and you need to communicate your vision. Communication happens both in action and word, and your action speaks more than your word. Nothing undermines changes more than behavior by important individual that is inconsistent with their word. So main challenge here could be someone very visible senior executive still behave in a way that are antithetical to the vision. The net result is cynicism among the troop goes up while belief in the communication goes down. People will not believe whatever you will say, so your action and your word should go side by side. Next step he is talking about is empower the action. Successful transformation begin to involve large number of people. As the process progress, employees are emboldened to try new approaches, to develop new ideas, and to provide leadership. To some degree, a guiding coalition empower others to take action simply by successful communicating the new direction. But communication is never sufficient by itself. Renewal also requires removal of obstacles which are very real. It could be boss who refuse to change, and who is making demand that is inconsistent with overall effort. Sometimes the obstacle could be organizational structure. Narrow job categories can seriously undermine effort to increase productivity or make it very difficult to think about customer. In the first half of transformation, no organization has the momentum, power, or time to get rid of all the obstacle, but the big one must be confronted and removed. If the blocker is a person, it is important that he or she is treated fairly and in a way that is consistent with the new vision. Action is essential both to employer, to empower other, and to maintain the credibility of the change effort as a whole. Now, the next step he's talking about is the creating short-term win. Real transformation takes time, and a renewal effort risk losing momentum if there are no short-term goal to meet and celebrate. Most people would not go on a long march unless they see compelling evidence in 12 to 24 month that journey is producing expected result. Without short-term win, too many people give up or actively join the rank of those people who have been resisting change. But whatever the case, win is unambiguous. Result is not just a judgment call that can be discounted by those opposing change. Managers often complain about being forced to produce short-term win, but pressure could be useful element in a change effect. When it becomes clear to people that major change will take time, and in that case urgency level can drop. So in order to maintain urgency level or momentum, you need short-term win. The next step he's talking about is consolidating improvement and producing still more changes. And this step we need to keep looking for improvement. Each success provide an opportunity to build on and identify what went wrong and start working on its improvement. Main challenge we can face in this stage is declaring victory too early. After a few years of hardship, manager may be tempted to declare victory with the first clear performance improvement. While celebrating a win is fine, declaring war won can be catastrophic. Until until the changes which you are suggesting has been done completely, it takes around 5 years for any change to be very much effective into the company. Ironically, it's often a combination of change initiator and a change resistor that create a premature victory celebration. So, to succeed in this phase, set goal to continue building on momentum you have achieved and learn about the idea of continuous improvement. After every win, analyze what went right and what you need to improve on. Next, and the last phase he is talking about is institutionalizing new approach. In this analysis, changes stick when it becomes the way we do things around here, when it seeps into the bloodstream of corporate body. Until new behavior are rooted in social norms and shared values, they are subject to degrade as soon as pressure for the change is removed. There are two factors which are particularly important in institutionalizing changes in corporate culture. First is a conscious attempt to show people how the new approach and behavior and attitude has a help in improving the performance. When people are left on their own to make connection, sometimes they make inaccurate connection. Suppose we have a very high performance and they may link that performance with some charismatic people. So you need to help people in making the right connection. The second factor he is talking about is taking sufficient time to make sure the next generation of the top management really does personify the new approach. Make continuous effort to ensure the change is seen in every aspect of your organization. Make change part of your core organization, part of its culture. Thus, I want to conclude by saying that values behind your vision must be seen in day-to-day work. Thank you.